It will be all in one, Yes. Nowadays, I identify myself with sport. It is my hobby. I really like it. Despite of my pain in my back, I continue attending my dance classes and do my best on it. My dream is to become famous and realize myself in music sphere. To my mind, everyone is in any country has to know their laws. So now I study in Lyceum Linguistics Law and Business International Dimension, and it will help me to become a lawyer. Frankly speaking, I was created by God for a great purpose. I want to realize myself in those spheres that I mentioned above, but in the future, I'm absolutely sure that I've got more purposes. And I try to do my best to discover myself in other spheres in life, but today I'm into dancing, music, and studying law. And I know that my truth is the only truth. God gave me life, and it's the opportunity for me to glorify God's will through me and my life. I try to do all my things based on the God's truth. I know I'm not perfect because nobody is perfect except Jesus.
Okay. Now I feel like I've done it wrong. Me too.
This here, from here?
From here.
Wait, so it's saying how it can impact us.
Okay, I'm gonna read it. Yeah, thank you. Just sit. Who is next?
I feel like I've done it. Is it right? So,
It's okay. I'll handle it.
I will rewrite and give you.
Okay. So who is going next? Sadie, are you ready? You don't understand? Who understands the assignment?
is this the identity, self-consciousness, self-awareness one?
Huh?
Yeah, the self-awareness one.
But that one is actually talking about her goal.
Okay. If it's the identity, self-consciousness, self-awareness one. Yeah, the goals one was sending to Pastor. In terms of identity and how it can impact society and the world, I believe that if I understand who I am completely, I'll be able to be selfless in my actions and behavior. I'll be able to put others above myself, as most insecurities put us at the center of everything we're going through. So once I can be accepting of myself, know who I am in Christ, and understand how to behave in several situations, I can help other people find confidence in their own selves by loving them, encouraging them, and treating them like the kings and queens they are meant to be. With my passion for writing poetry and photography, I believe that I can present my passion for writing poetry and photography. I can use those to reveal the different areas and different situations people are going through and show them the beauty that can come out of it and how they can live their lives in a way that glorifies God if they find who they are. In terms of self-consciousness and self-awareness, I think that if more people can walk firmly in their purpose instead of waiting for God to drop it in their lap with all the success already taken care of, the world will become more driven and innovative, and therefore create a brighter future much faster. Everything will be more efficient as everyone is driven to achieve the best in what they do. By doing and being aware of how you live so that you can walk towards your purpose and your destiny, depression and anxiety should be much less, as well as other stress-related diseases. So when people are more focused on achieving their goals and their dreams and success, if more people can do that in the wider world, then society will benefit because more things are being created, more things are being shared amongst people, and then the whole world as a whole will become more unified and develop much faster.
Okay, thank you. Let's put our hands together for her. Okay, I want to make something clear for you guys. Listen up. When they give you an assignment to do, the first thing you should do is try to define what that words are, yeah? For example, let's say, how to become a musician. That's the question, right? How can I become a musician? The first thing I should do is to define what is music. Yeah? Because sometimes we feel we know the meaning of a word. Even it happens to me all the time. Like, because we know that words can be defined in a broad way, right? So you could have only one meaning of a word and you could work with it, which means your understanding of that word is limited. So when they give you an assignment, try to Google or try to define what that word is and get more knowledge on that word. And if possible, write it down. So if I should tell you the perfect way to do this assignment, the first thing you do is to define what is self-awareness. You write it down, right? The next, self-identity, you define it. What is the other one? Consciousness, right? Yeah, you define it, yeah? Then before you start giving down your point. Is that understood? Joy, is that understood? Everybody, is that understood? Sadie? Sydney? Why are you sitting down over there? You are in the class. You should come sit close. Is everything okay? Or you're not happy about the choice of the movie? You don't want to watch Fighting Temptation? Huh? No? No? Okay, so you're fine. Everything is okay. So do you understand what I just explained? That when they tell you to do, when they give you an assignment, the first thing is to do is to find the meaning of the words, right? And write it down for you. It helps you to understand it broader and wider, and you could even have more options and more answers. Is that understood? So well done, Ife, and also well done, Veronica, but I think you understand, yeah? It's better to just write down self-awareness, then you write down how can I use my music to influence globally, right? Or even Ukraine, you can start from Ukraine. So if you're good at photograph or music, how can you use that to relate to people at your own age? By the way, today you guys are going to have a guest. Is it 18, 16? I don't remember how old. She's young. And she has been to the Ukrainian parliament. She has spoken there. She has her album. She sings. She is really cool. So she's going to come meet you guys, and she's going to talk about herself. She's going to talk about how to influence, your age mate and even older people everywhere, globally, okay? So Veronica, is that clear? Okay. So thank you. Ife, who is going next? You're trying to define the word, but did you do your assignment? You forgot to do your assignment. Ooh, that is not good, Imisi. That is not good. I gave you this assignment since afternoon, and you forgot to do it. So how come you forgot? Was it that you were reading, and you forgot? Uh-oh. That is not good. What about you, Joy? Did you do your assignment? You didn't know that you have an assignment? Joy is not aware of her assignment. Jeanette, how come she doesn't know she has an assignment? I think everybody was here when I was saying this assignment, no? This is not good, Joy. How come? And you too, Judah, how come Joy is not aware of this assignment? Huh? You don't know too. You're not a... Okay, this is interesting. Wow. Well, unfortunately, you're not going free. You are not going free for not doing your assignment. But have you done your assignment? It's okay. It's okay. The most important part is that you do it. That's the whole point, yeah? I should have told you earlier on how to do it, but that's not the point. I wanted to see how you guys would do it. Then I'll tell you the better way to do it. That's the whole point, yeah? Okay. So which means you've done yours. Have you done yours? Do you want to say? Why? But you've done it. So what's the problem? Say it, Sydney. You've done your assignment. Is that correct? So why don't you want to talk about it? What about you, Sadie? Have you done? You're still doing it. Why are you still doing it? Is it because you don't know or you're not sure how to do it? Okay. Well, you should have asked me. What about you? Have you done yours? Okay, please come. It's okay. If you've done it, just come tell us what you did.
So, identity is how you know yourself on a physical and emotional level.
You have to speak louder.
Okay, so identity is how you know yourself on a physical and emotional level. It gives you the confidence to pursue what your purpose is and how to get there. You flourishing helps the world because when you do things in God, you attract others to that God in you, which brings people closer to Him. Self-awareness is being aware of your destiny. I don't know why I wrote that, but okay. So being aware of your destiny allows you to start early in order to fulfill your purpose in life quicker and better than you would do.
Wait a minute. You said something about destiny?
Yeah.
So
Being
is it
aware.
under what? Identity or what?
No, this is self-awareness now.
Oh.
Okay. Being aware of your destiny. Okay, so being aware of your destiny allows you to start early in order to fulfill your purpose in life quicker and better than you would do if you were able to find it later in life, which makes awareness important. And self-consciousness is living in the awareness of who you are. And I didn't really know how to explain it, so I just used the same thing as identity with it. But yeah, I wrote the same thing for identity. I mean for self-consciousness. No, as in like how I was going to explain it. I wrote the same thing for identity that I did for self-consciousness because I didn't really know how to explain it properly.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I did.
So do you agree what I'm saying, what I was explaining just now, that if you had a definition,
Yeah,
it would have helped you?
yeah,
You agree, yeah?
yeah, because it helped me when I was writing it.
Yeah.
Because I thought self-consciousness and self-awareness were pretty much the same thing, but they're not.
Happens
So
to- yeah.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes? Okay, good. You can go get it. Yeah. Janet, you can come, please.
Self-consciousness is your ability to be aware of yourself.
So are you giving us a definition now?
Kind of, not the standard definition,
But what was the assignment?
to talk about self-consciousness and self-awareness and self-identity, and then how it impacts us as society. Okay. And self-consciousness does not concern anybody else but yourself. You have to be sure that you aren't daydreaming through life. And it's not just being conscious of your physical being, but it's being conscious of deeper questions of why you have existence, what you're meant to be doing with your existence, knowing your body, your mind, your soul, and your spirit, and how God is related to that. Self-awareness requires us to be brutally honest with ourselves in the point of our personal development. How far are we in relation to where we know that we are supposed to be with God? And for me, I think in society, if we are all completely aware, if we are all completely self-aware, it will help us to eradicate laziness in our lives, because then we can clearly see where we are and where in the areas in which we need to develop, so that we have a better understanding of the areas in which we need to work towards in order to be better. Self-identity will help us to avoid confusion in regards to who we are. We'll be able to have clarity in who we are, and then we can't be dissuaded by others to be someone that we're not. We have the truth of who we are, and we're sure of it. And the truth of who we are will not change with conditions or situations around us. For me, I'm learning to have a clear definition of self-identity to be involved in and participating in life. And those many different things contribute to me
in being a diverse person. But for me, I know that, for me, I know that the fact that I have many different things that I want to do and be involved in shouldn't make me be dissuaded that I need to be certain in my self-identity and what I know is the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's put our hands together. So, but you get the point what I was trying to make, yeah? Okay. Pastor should be coming in anytime soon, anytime from now. So we're just going to continue. When he comes, we stop. Then whenever we have our own time, we'll continue, okay? Okay. But I'm not happy with those of you that didn't get, I'm just surprised. It's maybe I was the one that didn't say it out loud, which I believe I did, or you were not just paying attention. Judah, do you have yours? Is it ready? Oh, okay. So, Esther, you ready? Okay.
Obviously the homework was how can identity, self-awareness and self-consciousness impact society in the world. I first defined each three of them, starting off with identity. Identity is knowing who you are physically, spiritually, mentally and emotionally. Once you as an individual know who you are and what your purpose is on earth, you'll be able to help other people to find their path, to knowing who they are, to also impact the society, to not just live life on a daily basis, not knowing why they were put on this earth and just toiling away for the rest of their life. Also, self-awareness. Self-awareness is being conscious about, cautious about knowledge, about one's own character and feelings and the society. Once you're aware of your character, your personality, and like the way you act around the world, around other people, and how they see you, you'll be able to help other people to build their character. And once people are able to build their character, they won't be in a situation of just being lost every single day of their life. They won't just be following other people, trying to see where they are fitted within society. This can help people to be alert of themselves and how they can better themselves and know their character in order to avoid dispute among society and quick judgment of other people. Self-consciousness. Self-consciousness is a heightened sense of self-awareness. It is a procreation with oneself. So self-awareness and self-consciousness are the same thing, but self-consciousness is just thinking, not just thinking of yourself, but building on yourself and what you need to work on. One needs to be conscious about themselves and their behavior. It also has to do with motivation. If you're a person to easily be put down by other people and believe them, you're not really motivated. You're just like not conscious of yourself. Your self-motivation is like the biggest thing. It will lead you to happiness, because with your own self-motivation, you'll be able to know that, okay, since I'm the one that I'm deciding that, I don't want to be put down by people, I want to be stronger within myself, I can do anything that I come to, you'll be able to do it. So when there's self-consciousness in the society, people won't allow themselves to be run down by other people, because we're living in a society where you work for someone, and even though you're getting, let's say you're getting paid a lot of money to work with someone, and they're always treating you badly, running you down, saying that, if not for me being here and promoting you and everything, that you won't be able to do this and that. You should stop, think about what they're saying and say no, that I don't always need you to be the one to help me out. So you just need to motivate yourself to do good things.
Что? А пока нет. Да, но я думаю, пастор будет в любое время, поэтому... Who is next? Adele, do you want to go next? Are you ready? Did you do your homework?
I did it, but...
Huh?
I feel like I need to change it.
I feel you shouldn't change it. Are you ready? Okay, come.
The question was how you use self-identity, self-awareness, and self-consciousness to impact the world, or to use to help the world. And I wrote that self-identity is the perception of the recognition of my character as an individual, especially my relationship and social behavior. And my example is the way I dress. The way I dress is one of my identities. And self-awareness is having a conscious knowledge of my own character and feelings. Example is feeling happy as my feelings, and having attitude is my character. Self-consciousness is me being aware of my own individual actions and my thoughts. My actions and how I treat people or how people treat me, and my thoughts on how I think about people or how they think about me.
When she finishes, you continue. Okay? Go ahead. Are you done? Okay, let's put our hands together for her.
Am I Adele?
Who's next?
I'm not Adele. I'm not Adele. It's fine. Huh? No. I don't want to say myself awareness. Just do self-conscious. Identity can impact the world, because if just one person knew who they were spiritually, emotionally, and physically, it would be able to impact the society they live in. That could impact many people in that society to also discover their true identity, which could impact on more societies they're also part of, and so on. This is beneficial because people will then be able to answer the question.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sit down.
Yes. Continue.
Oh,
Yeah. You can just finish.
Okay. This is, should I just finish the one I'm on? This is beneficial because people will then be able to answer the question of who they are and be able to use the power God has given them on this earth to then successfully fulfill their purpose in this life. Yeah.
Where is the whiteboard? We need the whiteboard again. Kenny, you need to bring the board. Okay, you are now the one, right? Of knowledge. So all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the, the things that you will know, the things that you want to do, the things that you would like to do, the things that, the information that will be going to the will and to all parts of your body is stored up in your mind. So the mind is also very important, because if you don't have information in your mind, then you don't have instruction to give to your will, then you don't have instruction to give to your body, you don't have instructions to give to other part of your life. So the mind is very important. If you don't know something in your mind, your will will never be able to command you to do it. If you don't know if you didn't store out an information in your mind, your body cannot get instruction to do it as well, and your spirit will never be able to get information to do it. So everything that you will ever do, it depends on what you know or what comes to your mind. So the mind is the second most important power, the most important force that you have in your life. So what does that mean? That means that now your mind, to some extent, actually your mind, the most work needs to be done not on your will. If you do enough work on your mind, your mind will now inform your will, be informing your will what to do. So your mind is the place where you need to do the most important work. So you need to make sure you have enough information in your mind. You need to do self-education. You need to read. You need to think, because your mind is where you think, is where you read, is where you store information and all that. So if we take you, the most important thing you can ever do in your life is what we call self-education. Self-education. Because even for you to strengthen your willpower, it has to still come through your mind. Your will takes the decision, but your mind is informed as to what your will should do. So, your most important assignment, your most important task on daily life is not in your life. Your most important priority in life is not to get married and have children. Your most important priority in life is not to... have you ever heard of people, adult people, talking about children, family? Okay, how many of you are dreaming of having family and children one day? Good. Huh? At some point, not now, in future. You want to have family and children in the future? Okay. But listen to me. Family and children, listen closer. Family and children is not as important as developing your mind, as self-education. Even after you are married, self-education is still more important than marriage. Even when you have children, self-education is still more important than children. But when I talk to adults today, and I ask them, what is the most important thing in your life? Everybody says family, children, husband, wife. But they don't know that self-education is supposed to be more important than those things. So let me tell you the reason why self-education is more important. That's all connected to your mind. What you are doing with your mind is more important than anything else. In fact, self-education is more important than money. Self-education is more important than faith in God. Self-education is more important than influence, power, than anything else. So why this? Why is self-education, or the act of developing your mind, why is it more important than God, than faith in God? Why is developing your mind, self-education, is more important than money, than power, than influence, than everything else you could imagine? One, which one do you want me to prove to you that self-education is more important than? Do you want me to start by proving that self-education is more important than faith in God? Or that is more important than family? Or that is more important than children? That is more important than marriage? Or that is more important than money? What? Which one do you want me to prove?
Faith in God.
Huh?
Faith in God.
So why is self-education more important than faith in God? Is that what you want to know?
Yeah.
Why self-education is more important than faith in God? Let's assume, can you call me a Judah? Let me use you as an example. Let's assume that do you believe in God? Yes. Good for you. So let's say Judah believes in God. but doesn't educate himself, doesn't inform and develop his mind. No self-education, no mind development, but he has faith in God. So, let's say, how did you get to know about God? Who informed you about God? Your parents. Okay, your parents. So let's say his parents are jihadists. Huh? Muslim fundamentalists. Do you know what they will be preparing him to do? To become suicide bomber. That is still faith in God. If people who still do suicide bombing, and you know about that in London, those people are still having faith in God. So why is it that the child will grow up and be dreaming of bombing London Bridge, for example, or some plane somewhere? Because he just believed in God, that's all. So if you don't develop your mind to think, if you don't develop your mind to be informed, you will not know better than what other people will tell you. Your faith in God will be manipulated. So if you don't develop your mind and you don't do self-education, some people will come to you and say the best way to fight God is to start a crusade, a military crusade. And if you know in history, you will see that there was a time where it is not just the jihadists that were killing people everywhere, but even Christians were killing people because they were being told by people they respected, people who were authority figure in their lives. They were informing them that for you to be a good Christian, you must go and fight the Muslims and go and kill them. And Christians did that in the name of God. Why? Because they just believed in God without thinking with their head, without developing their mind. So like today, for example, somebody could come to you and say, the right way to pray as a Christian is that your enemies will die. That any enemy that is standing on your way of progress, on your way of success, you should pray that the person should die. And because you only believe in God and you don't develop your mind, you begin to pray that people will die. So you'll be doing the same thing the jihadists are doing, but the only difference is that they are doing it with bomb and with arrows or with whatever, but you are doing it in your own bedroom. You are a killer as much as the other person is a killer. So if you don't develop your mind and do self-education, you will not be able to engage your mind and think that this God that says is a loving God, why should he be killing people at the same time? Then you will not even know that the author and the beginner of this Christian faith doesn't even approve of that. So people will make you to be doing things that is even against the very thing that Jesus himself spoke about. Because Jesus had said, love your enemies, not kill your enemies. But love them, don't kill them. But because you don't know better, you'll be thinking, because somebody has told you that killing them is the best way out so that they don't kill you, you'll be going to kill them. Yes.
Because everybody on earth somewhere has an enemy here, and everybody is starting to pray for their enemies to die, you can also die yourself because you have an enemy, and that enemy will be praying for you.
See, she's already thinking. With a in a small age, as small as she is, she's already thinking. But they are, but in some places, there are grown-up people who are good enough to be your parents and grandparents who don't even think anymore. Because if people don't think, they will do foolish things, and they don't even realize they're doing foolishness. So thank you. Soon nobody will be on the earth. Everybody will be dead. Eh? So that's about God. Should I give you? So I think you understand. Do you understand Why? Developing your mind is even more important than having faith in God. Okay, on the other hand, let me give you another example. If you just have faith in God, but you didn't develop your mind, then you will not have arguments and bases and proofs for your faith in God. So you go to university, for example, and then some professors and other people begin to tell you that, it's foolish to believe in God, and that only primitive people believe in God. Because you don't have evidence, you don't have arguments, you don't have, your mind is not developed to process it and to argue why you believe in God. When they tell you it's rubbish to believe in God, you believe it, and you lose your faith. Why? That's why it's more important for you to develop your mind. Self-education is more important than faith in God. Okay, what is the next one you want me to prove? That self-education is more important than what? Than family. Good. What do you mean by family? Husband and wife? Okay, or children? Okay, we'll talk about children later. So marriage. Why is the self-development, the ability to read? Self-development it's not when you go to school. That is not self-development. That is self-education. That is education. But self-development is self-education. It's when you yourself are pushing yourself, are independently working on yourself to get more knowledge. You doing it out of your own free will, not because the classroom tells you to come, not because the school system say you must come to school or you must go from primary 1 to primary 6 and secondary school and university. That is education. But self-education or self-development is much more superior to education, because education, you can finish it. But self-education and self-development, you never finish it. It's an ongoing process all your life. So why is self-education more important than family? Why is self-education more important than family? Well, the reason why self-education is more important than family is because where is parents? Paul and Zoe. Okay. So why is self-education more important than family, than having a family, than having a marriage? Self-education is more important because, let's say, I have to use people as an example. Judah, I think I will need you again. Yeah. You come here too. Can you come? Okay, let's say you grow up, you are 30 years old or so, and you are 30 years old, 25 years old, you want to marry. You find somebody to marry, right? So now that you want to marry, but you didn't do any self-education and any self-development, you didn't read. Have you read, how many books have you read about marriage? None. So you didn't read any book about marriage, about family, you don't know anything about it. You just decide, but you want to marry. Yeah, so let's say because you are age, because you are 30 years old, and at 30 years old, everybody marries. So people tell you, since you are 30 years old, age is going or life is going, you must marry, you need to have children. So you found a girl that's just like you, who also thinks that you marry because the age is ripe and doesn't know all the other requirements. So you don't know what it takes to sustain and maintain successful marriage. So you just, the age has come, you got married, and you are all excited. Oh, everybody I saw marrying were excited. So I must be excited. Everybody is happy, I must be happy. And so you went and married. Then the next thing you will discover is that you are fighting in your family. Then the next thing you discover is that you don't respect each other. And you become a source of tragedy to the girl, and she's broken, and she will become a source of tragedy to you, broken. So, and then you divorce. And then, thank God you don't have children. But if you have children, they are disappointed, they are broken, everything is damaged. So, because you did not, know what, if you don't know, if you marry without self-education and self-development, you don't know what to do there. or you don't know what to do there right and correctly. So because you don't know what, is tragedy, because you don't know how to manage, how to make it successful, and how to, maintain that family and make it the kind of, you don't know the requirements to family. You don't know how God wants a family to be. And so it's better, without knowledge, it's better not to even do anything. Anything you do without knowledge will bring you more pain than before you did it. So anything you do without self-education, for example, in this country, in Ukraine, there are no books, maybe only Pastor Sunday's book, to prepare you for marriage. No books. Nobody even thinks you have to have, why should you have to read books to marry? People think it's foolishness here. People think, read books to marry? Why do we need to book? We love each other, that's all. We love each other. We like each other. I mean, we love each other. So what book? What do you mean? We are not going to give exams. We are not going to a college. So that's what people think. Thank you. Sit down. So that's what people think. As long as you are thinking, not just in this country, in my country, I never heard it in my life that for you to marry, you need to read books. Books? What happened? That you need to give exams before you marry? What? I'm not going to college or university. That's why all the problems we have today are there. That's why all the divorces and all the crises in family, husband and wife fighting, they don't like each other, because they never prepared. They thought the only thing you need for marriage is to fall in love, is to like the opposite sex. So that is the recipe for catastrophe. Yes, that is why that is why self-education is more important. Developing your mind is more important than marriage, because you will not know what to do when you get to that marriage. Without self-education, that marriage will become a graveyard for you. That marriage will become a burial ground for your destiny and for everything. So marriage is more important. It's less important than self-education. So make sure you educate yourself first. You make yourself, because the only people who are qualified to marry are people who are already self-sufficient. You've educated yourself so much, you've developed yourself so much, you are so self-sufficient. So only two people who are self-sufficient could marry. But if you are nothing, you don't know anything about life, you don't know anything about marriage, and you just go ahead and marry somebody, catastrophe upon catastrophe. Your own catastrophe was enough before, but now you have another one added to it. So that is why, marriages are becoming one of the greatest tragedies of life. Then children. Why is self-education and developing your mind more important than having children? Well, in London, you have a lot of kids that are having kids. Yeah, a lot of kids that are having kids. And then what they do, they go and depend on social services and welfare and council. Huh?
They have a TV show called 16 and Pregnant, for like girls who have gotten pregnant at 16.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. So 16 and pregnant, it's catastrophe, horrible stories. Why? Because they didn't know that self-development is more important than children. Sex. Yes, but they didn't know that self-education is more important than sex too. Because they didn't want children, you said they didn't want children, they wanted to have sex. Okay, then let's talk about that. Because they didn't do self-education, they were having sex without self-education, and the sex ended up getting them pregnant. And because they didn't educate themselves, they were surprised. So they never expected pregnancy. Why? Because they didn't educate themselves. And now that they are pregnant, they are in confusion. They didn't expect that. That's not what they bargained for. They didn't want it. They got what they didn't want. because what they got is exactly what you are supposed to expect when you are doing what you are doing. So it's catastrophe upon catastrophe. Nothing is worth doing without self-education. Therefore, I want to tell you guys, if you want to fall in love with anything in life, that's the only thing to fall in love with. Don't fall in love with girls. Don't fall in love with boys. Don't fall in love with opposite sex. It's only foolish people that fall in love. Yeah. When people tell me they fall in love, I see the definition of foolishness. Yes. Only silly, foolish people fall in love. The only thing to fall in love with is self-education and self-development. But if you are falling in love with opposite sex, that means that you are putting yourself under the power of instinct. It's the same question that we were just asked. How is it that people become addict when they are having habit or they become addicted to something? Because they submit their will to the power of habit, and then they are not able to get out of it. The same thing with falling in love. You submit your willpower, which is your greatest power. You never submit your power for any reason. But when you fall in love, you give up your willpower and put yourself under the control, under the rulers, autopilot of feelings. Ooh, you are going to crash bad. You are going to have a very bad crash. So when it's time for you to marry, don't fall in love before you take a decision. When you want to marry, make sure that you sit down. Your will must be in place and your mind must be functional. You must process everything. You must think about every single detail. And you must do the comparative analysis. Take a sheet of paper or your computer, write all the points, all the positive points down, all the negative points. Do examinations, ask questions. And then when you are fulfilled and satisfied, then you could take a decision. But it's not going to be because you fell in love. It's because you took the decision. When you take the decision, you will love, but not fall in love. You will love, but not fall in love. Love, but not fall in love. Yeah, because if you fall, you fall. So, yeah, so that is why your mind is the second most important thing you have in your life. So when you go to church and people tell you just pray, 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 they are wasting your time. Prayer is not the most important thing you have in your life. The most important thing you have in your life is your willpower. The second most important thing you have in your life is your mind, your self-education, self-preparation, self-development. Those two things are more important than prayer. Because what prayer does is that you want to call on God to come help you do some things. But God would never do for you what He has asked you to do. Or God will never do for you what you are supposed to do for yourself. So if you are suspending your mind and suspending your willpower and also just praying, you will pray for so long and nothing will change. You are going to die in poverty and in need. So just know that there are two things that are more important in your life than prayers, even than God, until you submit them to God. Those two things: your mind, your will, and your mind. Your will and your mind. Who are these people we see here? All these scientists and great people. They are great men, isn't it? Men and women. You know why? Because they have made their mind, they discovered that on time. That there is nothing more important than their mind, than self-development of their mind. They developed their minds and they became great. Now, what's your name again? Daniel. Daniel said he wants to become a scientist or something like that, inventor. So, why do they? For him to become an inventor, he must develop whatever they are going to teach him in class is nothing compared to the knowledge he has to get by self-education. It is the thing that he will get through self-education that will make him the inventor that he wants to become. Same with Judah, and same with all of you. Going to school doesn't give you anything much. Going to school will not make you become who you want to become. It is the self-education that you engage in that will make you become who you would like to become. So those two things, they are very significant. They are very, very powerful. They are much more needed. Okay. Now, apart from, after mind, I would like to go to feelings. Emotions? No, feelings are more important than emotions. So maybe we should change places. Okay, that's the way he decided to change it. He put the number there. He didn't want to rub it off and write again, so that's too long. So he put the number there. Number 3 is feeling. Yesterday, 2 of you came to me to ask the question, but feelings and emotion are the same thing. Who came to me to ask that question? 1, 2. Yeah, 2 of you are wondering, why should I write both feelings and emotions? Because you think that they are the same thing, isn't it? Not just you think so. Many people think feelings and emotions are the same thing. But feelings are different from emotions. For example, when I said self-education or self-development is more important than God, did you feel anything? You felt confused? Good. You felt somehow? Good. When I also said self-education is more important than family and than children, did you feel anything? Not really. Okay, but you felt something. Some people felt something. And when I said it's more important than God, so all of you felt something. Okay. Okay. That, what you felt, is called feeling. But emotion is the expression of feelings. Even though you felt something, yeah, even though you are feeling something, but I never knew about it. I didn't even see anything. But when I'm doing this, wow, shy, what are you doing to me? Those are emotions.
Oh, I get it now. You're getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Why are you getting so emotional?
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
So feeling is what is happening before emotions come forward. And emotion is the way you express the feeling or whatsoever you are feeling inside. You got some? Let me give you some as reserves. So there is a difference. Do you now know the difference between feeling and emotions? Or are they the same thing? Okay, you have questions? Okay. Sorry?
So is it like feeling is your immediate response, and then
Doesn't have to
emotion
be
is like-
immediate.
So is-
You know, it doesn't have to be immediate. Feel, okay, for example, let me give you another example of feeling. You are diesel, right? Diesel. Okay. You have graduated from high school. You had graduation service or ceremony? Huh? You had prom. Prom. You had prom? What were you feeling when you finished school? You felt something. Okay, you felt that. But that's not immediate. That's okay, on your graduation, when you were having prom, you felt something, right? But that was a month ago or a few months ago. So that's not immediate. Okay, you are an African. Do you feel anything as an African? Or you don't feel anything being an African? Maybe not proud, just feeling anything. You know you're an African. Okay. Is that immediate? If it was immediate, it was going to be when you were born immediate. Okay, let's do another question. Do you feel anything that you know God? The fact that you believe in God, you know God? Yeah? Okay. It's just totally different that you don't know, nothing, you never heard about God. Okay, you have a feeling. Is that immediate? You've been having God all the while. Do you feel something that you have parents? Yeah, it's better than to be homeless. Okay. So those are feelings. Those are feelings. It's not immediate. Feelings are what you go through inside, what you experience inside. Feelings are the things that are going, the processes that are going on within you. Then when you give voice to those feelings, it's called emotion. The feelings are the voice of your emotion. Emotions are the voice or the voices of your feelings. If you want to let it known, if you want to give expression to it. For example, I know that most of you don't like the food in Ukraine, right? You don't like the food in my house. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. I could feel it. Okay? So the fact that you don't like the food in this house, those are the feelings. But when you begin to talk about it, and say, oh, take me to McDonald's, take me to McDonald's. Those are the emotions now. You see the difference? So when you don't talk and you are just feeling it, but you are keeping it inside, that's one thing. But when emotion is when it comes out and begin to spill the beans. You understand? Yeah. So when you begin to cry, for example, maybe somebody said something, like I said something to the girl yesterday. Maybe she felt something I didn't know about it, but when she began to cry, the emotion gave her away. That we knew that she was upset. So being upset is a feeling. But crying is an emotion. Okay, for example, being happy is a feeling. But dancing is emotion. Do you know that white people, when white people are singing, especially in some churches, in Orthodox churches, they are just singing and standing in one place and just opening their mouth, and you just see that the mouth is moving, that's all. And they are thinking about God, that they love God. I love you, Lord. I give my heart to worship. So they are singing, but you only get that because you are hearing the voice and the mouth is moving. So there is no emotion. But that doesn't mean they are not feeling anything. They are feeling it, but they are not expressing it. But the black person, when he is singing, but the white person is feeling the same thing. Only you are emotional about yours, and she is not expressing her own emotions. Is it clear now? The difference between emotions and feelings. So you need both of them. You need both of them. And they are also important as well. Both feelings and emotions are important. But if you want to talk about the soul, these are the ones you want to deal with most. The will and the mind. Those are the things that you really want to. And those two things are more important than going to church. They are more important than religion. They are more important than faith in God. They are more important than anything. They are prayers. They are more important than anything. Those two things. But religion, what religion wants you to do, let me warn you. What religion wants you to do is to say only God is important, only prayers is important, only coming to church is important, and your will is not important, and your mind is not important, submit them, shut them down, then you become what we call a zombie. But God doesn't want you to become a zombie, because even God himself gave you the free will and the willpower to be even choose if you believe in him or not. If you pray to him or not. God will not even make you become a zombie. He will not allow you to become a zombie. Even though he wants you to, to know him and to serve him, but he does that through persuasion, through understanding, through knowledge, but not through subduing those two powers that he has given to you, the willpower and the mind power. Those are the two greatest powers you have in life. With those two things, with those two powers, you'll be able to become anything you want to become in life, and you'll be able to get to any height you want to get to in life, and you'll be able to serve God to any length you want to serve God, and you'll be able to glorify God, and you'll be able to, make God popular, and use those two powers to be able to bring the kingdom of God down on earth, and make God popular and make God great. And the greatest things you could use those two powers to do is to submit them to God and to use them to glorify God. Those are the two things you could do, the greatest two things you could do with those two powers that you have. So know that money is an inferior power to those two powers that you have. Fame is an inferior power to those two forces that you have. Anything in this world, they come under those two powers. You could use those two powers to get any other thing in the world. Okay. I want to ask a question, but not from the kids this time, but from the parents that are here, from the adults. And the question I want to ask the adults is, how mind shifting are these things I'm telling your children about God, about mind, about the willpower, that they are more important and more significant than faith in God, than marriage, and those things. So, Tanya, как вас зовут? Татьяна, да? Вера, вы не слышали мой вопрос? Вы не слышали, да? Потому что вы увлечены. Хорошо, you answer first.
Yeah, my name is Omonike once again.
Louder, please.
My name is
Then look into the
Omonike.
camera.
Here?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, DSA, for this this teaching, because as a parent, I really learned a lot because I'm so emotional. I know that I have been a very emotional someone until I started listening to you, DSA, because I have a lot of feelings that I don't keep my own feelings. I always, in everything. So I really appreciate this teaching because it has really taught me a lot, and even my daughter here, because she too, she's always.
Your daughter will speak for herself.
Emotional. So because regarding this emotion, in everything I do, my emotions is always, going wild. So I really, I come to a conclusion that I've really learned a lot, and I'm so happy for this. Thank you so much, DSA.
No, but I wanted to ask about the controversial statements that I made that could be controversial to some people, and I wanted to hear what you think about those two powers, your willpower and your mind power, being more important than faith in God. And yes.
Yeah, regarding that, me too. When you first said it, I was like thinking, how can you say self-education is, more important than family or, than God? So, but when you started the illustration and everything, I now agree with you that it's really, really important for you to have self-education. It's really important in every sphere of life. If you want to, before you even get married, before you do anything, you have to self-educate yourself. It's really, really important. Thank you very much, DSA.
Okay.
Good morning or good afternoon. I think that it's actually very interesting, but yet again very challenging, but in a good way, because it's hard as a parent, raising children. That's a challenge on its own, trying to bring them up in understanding what is priority or what they should be making priority in life as they're growing up. But I think with what they have learned today, it's very clear and very straightforward, and I think it's probably the best explanation or teaching they can ever get in life. Growing up from this age that they are at now, knowing that it's you that is more important than anything else before marriage, before having a big house and driving a nice car, but knowing that developing yourself, being a self-sufficient human being above anything else is the greatest power you can ever have. And bringing that
But is that what religion has taught you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And it's the greatest gift, I think, that you guys can take away from this HMT.
Because you were not told that when you were growing up.
No, not at all. You are brought up with that mindset that, when you get to a certain age, you get married, you have children, and everything else just sort of falls into place. And by itself. And it's not true. And it's just, and likewise, what you said in prayer, that obviously mind is more important than prayer, because when you think about it, that's the problem with just about everybody. We don't really think, because when you think about it, if you don't have education or even self-educate as you are growing in life, there's only so much prayer can do, because you cannot be a high school dropout and be praying to God to drive a nice car or to have a big house. Because how do you, unless if you're planning to be a thief and steal, and that's the only way you can actually accomplish those kind of things or get those kind of things in life. But it's by far the best lesson that I could ever wish for my children and for every one of you guys that is here, because it's the only truth. It's just the truth. And I just hope that you guys take it in and really understand it and appreciate it and run with it, because there's no better truth you will ever hear apart from what Pastor Sunday is giving you here.
Thank you. You want to say something?
Honestly, I feel like religion, in a sense, is a great thing, but it also
it's a limitation.
It confuses us. I feel like they put too much in it. I feel what Pastor Sunday is speaking about is correct, and it's very practical. It's easy. I feel like God put on this earth the Bible for us to follow instructions. So if that's religion in a whole, that he put the Bible for us on this earth to follow instructions, so if you follow the Bible, you'll live a long life, you'll go to heaven. Why wouldn't he put instructions for everything else we have to do on this earth? So when you think about it, everything is a set of instructions. If you to go to college, you have to know how to go to college. You have to apply for something. You have to do this. They teach you in high school. To drive a car, you have to take a driver's license. You have to pass a test. You have to do something. Even to do anything in life, it needs instructions. Everything has a set of rules and steps. So when you think about it, if you compare the human life to the Bible, that we need the steps to get to heaven, and then you put that in your own life, you need steps to do everything. You just have to find those steps, and you make it happen.
Yep.
So.
Keep it. Oh, okay. She wants to say something.
Hi. While I was in the other room, I was actually watching as well on screen and seeing the comments.
Sorry, why Cohen Maiwa is speaking? I would like to talk to people who are watching. Hello, Sudamne. I would like to talk to people who are watching from home, who are watching by Facebook. Will you please write your own comments as well? Be free to write your own comments. What is happening is that this HMT, I'm teaching on the 7 most important questions in life. And the first most important question is what we've been dealing with since yesterday. So if you missed yesterday's classes, please go and listen to those classes again. I started by talking about the will, who am I? Who am I? And so that is what we discussed the whole of yesterday. And these are the things that are under the first question only, who am I? But I still have 6 more questions to go. So I will be starting the second question now because we just finished. But I have a whole book about who am I. And I'm not going to go into the details. I mean, it involves how do you discover yourself, your calling, and all that. So I'm not going to be talking about that for now because, that's just going to take me a whole week to talk about who am I. So I'm just going to give you the fundamentals of who am I. Now, the second question we're going to go into is going to come later, but we have dealt with a lot of things. Close the door. We've dealt with a lot of things, and I will need all of you to comment on what you are hearing. Please go ahead.
Yes. So I was watching and also reading some of the comments online, and I've come to realize that this actual class today, I haven't paid I wished I'd enroll, first of all, as a 30-something-year-old, that I'd enroll into this. And I saw some of the comments, people saying that we should package it and put it online. But for those people, the commitment and the plans that the people here have put in place, you also need to do the sacrifice. That's it. Thank you, sir. It's really important that you do that. But that's really not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about these teachings that even some of the parents, including me, if I'd had children, we don't know any of these things. And I've been listening to Dr. Sunday for a year now, and even this is just starting to make sense to me. So my point here that I want to make is that for all of you hearing this, you've been very religious, been brought up in religious background and religious parents that did not know this. So for you to really embed this in yourself, you need to listen to it over and over again. Because
so you never knew the greatest power in the world?
No, I didn't know. And I've listened to you, I've heard you.
Because I never spoke on this topic.
Yes, I've heard you, but I haven't put it together in this puzzle the way you have today. And, some of you will find it difficult. You might be accepting or even just listening here now, even the one about marriage, especially the girls. This is going to be really contradictory to your body, your blood, everything that you've been built on throughout your life, that your parents are still living and you're seeing them living. This is what some of you are even going to school for. It's like, as soon as I'm a certain age, I'm going to get married and have children and this. Both men and women, So these things, you need to really listen to it over and over again and understand how important it is to self-educate yourself, to continuously self-educate yourself. And if you don't, it's self-sabotage. You will destroy yourself. You will destroy those very things that you admire, that you want, that you're looking forward to in life. Without the self-education, you can't. If you really think about it, when Dr. Sunday was saying this, anything that you want to know and you want to be successful at, you have to learn it. But when he gave the example about marriage, how many people actually read a book about marriage before they got married? How many people go to learn about children, learn about how to raise children the successful way before they start having children? So these examples,
things should come together, right?
Yes, it will come together. And your parents even tell you so. Those authorities that you respect so much, they don't know. Only a few of the authorities knows. Even your parents did not know. It's not a derogatory thing on them. It's just because they were not taught either. They didn't know. But you have this opportunity now where you're being taught, you're being given a new lease on life. So take this, take this well, because I'm like in my 30s.
For example, if you have self-education and you don't have husband or wife and you are 50 years old, you are never married, you are still a virgin at 50, but you have self-education, which is more important? Are you a loser?
No.
Okay. Why? Because you now know the power of self-development. Self-development is more important than marriage. For example, let's say you have willpower to do and become anything you wish to become. And you know how to use your willpower, and you know how to use it to become like we spoke about yesterday. And then you don't have marriage and you don't have husband, you don't have children, but you have willpower. Which is more important? Of course, because all these people you see here, many of them never married. And many of them never had children. But the people who live at the same time with them, who had children, do you know who they are? Millions, billions of them who live the same time. Nobody knows who they are. But the people who managed and had the willpower and used their willpower to do something, they can never be forgotten. So the world has put wrong priorities in place. It is that these are the most important things, marriage, children, and all that. But really, the most important force God gave us are those two things: the willpower and the mind power.
So before I go to, I have two more things to say. So knowing this, because I can see that some of you are answering correctly, but you also have to live it. It has to be something that is in you. Because knowing it and, just having the understanding and answering the question correctly is not the same thing as living it. So you need to be able to live it and live it happily. Be in your own conviction that this is good for you. This is where you need to be. Where if you see your friends and other people, family that have children, and they would always want to challenge you. The whole world want to challenge you about those choices. That why don't you have children? Why are you not married? You're educated, you should be married. You can convincingly tell them, and it's not a point where you will be sad. You can tell them to the point where they're saying, wow, maybe this is definitely true. But it takes practice, it takes time, because all your lives, even up to this young, tender age that you are in, you've been told something differently. And you're seeing everybody around you, the majority of people. That's why 50% of marriages break up. That's why the children that they have so many issues in the world, because they didn't know, they were brought up by parents that didn't know, and so on and so forth. And we don't want to repeat that. So please go back, live it, understand it, know these things, go and repeatedly know this. And also for the adults that are hearing this, it's not too late. This is not for children. I think actually HMT for youth and young people should be packaged for both parents and your young people. And where there's a part where the parents need to excuse the young people or the children for a class, then that will be done. But I think it should be packaged together. Because when your children are learning this and hearing this, and you're not here to learn it, you will continue in those ways. And then they'll come back after 5 days, you will confuse them again. But when you're learning and you're embedding yourself in this knowledge as well, you can complement each other and you can help to support each other. So please, anyone that's listening.
Some parents are here, only they are not here in the hall.
Yes, but they're listening. Yes, they're listening.
I don't know if they're listening.
Yeah, they are listening, because I saw some of them. So for next time, please package it. Don't just say, send your children. Now it's like, if they can come, they also need to come. Because once the children get there, they have questions. They might not ask us. They can go and ask them during the breaks, and then they can bring it forward, and we can treat it well, treat this. But this is so important, and that's really what I have to say. Thank you.
I think maybe parents need it more than children.
Microphone. Kenny was saying something.
Yeah, it was just a quick, thank you. It was just a quick comment. I think, honestly, no hard feelings. I think parents actually need it more than children, to be honest, because parents still have the chance to teach their children this. We don't have children right now. Most of us don't have the children. I know it's still instilled, but it's not too late for parents to learn. Some parents might be like they're already in their ways, their culture, that's who they are, and it's too late. So it kind of does affect us when we learn something different and we're trying to teach our parents, but they kind of have control over us. So everything we say is going to be automatically wrong. So I feel like, right, you know, so I feel like parents, it's not too late. Like if you're watching out there, hey guys, it's not too late to tap in. It's not too late to learn this, to still teach your children. If your children's 35 years old, your children's 40 and they're not married, or they are married, it's still not too late to learn this and say, hey, I know you guys are married, but read this book on marriage. It still will help you out. It's never too late until we get to heaven. So,
okay. We are going to the second question. These are the 7 most important questions in life. The second question, I think we need to, yeah. I don't know what you do. I told you people to deal with the black one yesterday. Wait, he said he should wait. He wants to take the photograph. How will you remove, because we need to write something, then what will you do with the black that couldn't be erased? You might go and find spirit. If anybody has, or perfume or something, let's go and remove it because we need to. Anybody have perfume here or spirit spray, so that we could use it to clean it up? So, okay. The second question we are going to be having, the second question out of the 7 most important questions, second question is the question of, the first question was, who am I? The second most important question you have to deal with in your life is the question of, where am I from? Where am I from? Where am I from? That question, where am I from, is a question of 3 things. It's a question of source. It's also a question of origin or root. It's a question of source, root, or origin. And also it's a question of heritage. It's a question of heritage. So those are, no way? They are bringing it, okay. Okay, you remove what you can remove meanwhile.
Did everyone take a picture of this or write this down?
Yeah. So when we are talking about where am I from, why is that important? That's important because it will help you to identify yourself, not just on the basis of what you see now, not just on the basis of your body or your mind or your soul or your spirit, but you are more than your soul, your body, your soul, and your spirit. You are much more than that. And what makes you to be more than that is because if somebody brought you here, you got here somehow, and you didn't get here by yourself. Your own body, spirit, and soul did not help you to get here. Not that those, not that Paul knows to. You have to do many. Yeah, that's it. You see now. You see now. Anybody want to help her? So that you make it faster. You need some more. No, use the tissue paper. Where is the tissue? Who took the tissue? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Where am I from? Is the second question. Where am I from? So, where am I from reveals the question of what are the three questions that where am I from reveals? Source, origin, and heritage. Okay, let's see how Kenny will come out with that this time. Because we need to write under each one of them. Under the three, we need to write some things. Source.
Source, origin, and heritage? Only 3 or 4?
3. Okay. But they are all connected to where am I from. Where am I from? It deals with the question of source, origin, or what? Origin or what? Or root. Do you want to use root or origin? Origin is what you want to use. Okay. Root could be in bracket then. Heritage. Okay. Why are these 3 very important? You put them in the same color? Everything just one color? Maybe, okay, I don't know what it's going to do. Oh, now that is better. Now that is better. That makes a difference now. So where am I from deals with the question of source, origin, and heritage. Huh? Oh, okay. S-O-H. Okay, but can you put a little bit there? We said origin could also be what? Yeah. Yeah. So, do you see any similarity in those 3 words? Are they all related? Or they are not related? They are all related. Okay, who says they are related? You want to prove it? Where is the microphone? Okay, let's get the microphone. Who said they are related? Tell us why they are related. Microphone, so the battery goes, switch it on. Yeah, no, sweat it now. Okay.
Because I think they are related because they all talk about, I don't want to use the same words, but they all talk about where you started from, like the beginning of either your family line or who you see yourself as, and yeah.
Okay. Okay, what do you want to say about it, Abiola?
I was just going to say that they're all synonymous with each other. Synonymous. They're all synonymous with each other. Like, they all mean, they're like all very similar. Yeah.
Okay.
They all mean, they're all
they
very
all mean
similar.
the same thing?
Yeah. Not all the same thing, because you're probably going to, yeah, they're similar.
Okay.
Because I know you're probably going to differentiate.
All right. So, why do we need to know? Why do I need to know my source? Let me tell you what. Source talks about God. Talks about the original source. So let's say this answers the question of God. Root, origin, answers the question of what? Bloodline. Bloodline. Or what do you call that? Is it bloodline? Yeah. Okay. So the source answered the question of God. Origin answers the question of bloodline. And heritage answers the question of what? What? Huh? No. It answers the question of wealth. The resources, wealth that your background, your roots, your source provide for you. So those things are making you better. Can you imagine if you get to understand who you are, what you have coming from God? Who are you in sense of where are you from? Who is God? And what are the resources you have from God? Who are you, bloodline? And what is the history of your bloodline? And what are the, that is, who are you related with? What's that giving you? And then your heritage. What is your history giving you? What is your heritage giving you? So let's start by talking about heritage. I want us to start with heritage. We are going to put some things under heritage. Heritage is, most of you are black people, yeah? So what is the heritage of a black man? That is why you almost read my book, How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. And you must also read my book, The Danger of Monoculturalism, because those talks about the heritage of the black man. Heritage, as a black person, you are living in England, most of you, right? Yes. You live in England, but you are a black person. If you are not careful, you could be growing up with the notion or wrong notion that you don't have a heritage. That you are just English person, or you are just a black English, or Nigerian English, or just English person. But because a lot of people who are in England and are black, they are already having this problem right now. Because some of your sports people, they are just black people, but they don't relate to any other thing than South London, or Peckham, or Northeast, or something like that. So you are totally deprived. You are totally deprived of a whole heritage.
Yeah.
So, but when we talk about heritage, if you are an African, for example, you want to talk about Africa. That's as a continent. That's one, Africa. Continent, yeah. Then you want to talk about So then you want to talk about your tribe. No, first of all, no. Your nation, your country, and then tribe. Yeah, no, it's okay. Africa, then country, then tribe. If maybe we shouldn't say Africa, maybe we should just say continent. Continent. Continent, country, tribe, yeah. Continent, country, tribe. Continent, country, tribe. Tribe. Now, then say history. After that, put history. Okay. Then after that, put wealth. Resources. Then after that, put conversion. How do I convert all these things to my benefit? Conversion. Okay? Do you people remember that when you read the Bible, you are always reading the genealogy of this gave birth to this gave birth to this is the this comes from this is how long this is. Why is that important? Why should the whole Bibles be spent on those things? Because of this heritage. Now let's go to root, origin. This one in particular is talking about your bloodline. Your bloodline. So you want to talk about what's your family tree? Put family tree. Put relatives. Relatives. Put mother side, father side. Mother side, yeah. Father side first and then mother side later. Put grandparents. Great-grandparents, sorry. Great-grandparents. GGP. Great-grandparents, GGP. Then put grandparents, GP. Then put parents after that. Parents. Then put history after that. Then put resources. Then after that you put wealth. See how many points we have under under each point. Okay. Yeah, wealth. Okay. Can you close? Yeah, close that. And let's talk. I need you now. We have the microphone. I need Kenny to be my illustration. Let's leave God out first. Let's leave God out first. Let's leave God out of this. Take that. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
So this is Kenny. Can you read what you wrote? Let's start with heritage.
Okay.
Can you read what you wrote, point by point? Say point 1, 2, 3. Just keep on mentioning them.
So where am I from? Is it too, right?
You to your chest like that. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, where am I from? First, we're going to start with heritage. Point is wealth.
No, there are 3 things under heritage. Say that again. No,
Okay.
mention the 3, then we are going to start with heritage.
Okay. So the question is, where are you from? Where am I from? Where are you from? There are 3 things there are actually 3 points that go under where are you from.
Yep.
Source, origin.
Source, talking about
Source, talking about God, that we're from God. Origin, which is your roots, talking about your bloodline. And heritage, talking about your wealth.
Yes. So let's start with heritage, please.
So under your heritage, which is speaking about how wealthy you are or your family is.
No, your family is. You are.
How wealthy you are specifically.
Yes.
We have what continent you're from,
Yeah.
what country you're from,
Yeah.
what tribe you're from,
Yeah.
where your history is
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
where your resources are from
Yeah.
or located, and the conversion.
Okay, now listen to this. What he said is he pronounced the words rightly, but he didn't qualify them rightly. So when we're talking about heritage, we're actually referring to the fact that when you know your heritage, you know your wealth. Or you know your source of wealth. If you are smart. And that's why you are learning this topic. Where are you from? So when you know where am I from, you already have 50% of what you need to have all the resources and wealth that you need in the world. You should never be confused about making money and wealth if you can answer this question. For example, just because you were born in America, Kenny was born in America, but being born in America, if he doesn't know answer to these questions, especially this particular one, heritage, is just ordinary American, just like every other person. It's limited. But just this knowledge alone of knowing where am I from and answering the question of heritage, just one question, he is already wealthy and much more wealthy than 90% of his countrymen in America. Not just wealthy in knowledge, but wealthy in money as well. Just answering this question has already made him a millionaire. I see him as a millionaire just by this. I see each one of you as a millionaire just by that question alone. Oh. That's true. Judah, you come and join him here. Come and join him here. Just because I know what Judah wants to do with his life, what he wants to become, I remember what he said he wanted to do. And I remember what he wants to do. So, because of one question, heritage, which equals wealth, and millions and billions of dollars already, so how does he get to that place? He must answer the question of heritage, which is, what continent? What's your continent?
Africa.
Africa. So even though he's an American, he lives in America, but because he knows his heritage as African continent, which means he has a place to fall back to explore concerning any passion that he has. So in the case of Kenny, his passion is fashion, and his passion is culture. So even though he lives in America, but because he was able to answer that question that I am Igbo, like American, or I am African, you know what he did? He went back to Africa. And as a result of the country in Africa is Nigeria, the tribe is Igbo, the history, he knows the history. See, this is a complete, and I'm going to ask him to talk by himself soon. See what he's making. See, do you see this dress? He made it himself. This is his own creation. And you see where he got the idea from? From his heritage. He got to know the continent. He went to the right place. He went back to the continent. He got the idea of the tribe. He knows the history because these are ornaments, these are designs that you don't see in Europe. So his history provided him with the original thoughts. I mean, his continent gave him the picture of what product to make. His culture, his history, his tribe gave him the cultural background to be able to come up with the material, even Ankara material.
OneVoiceApplied.com.
Yeah. And then, so all these things have now become his resources. Now, all those things that we are talking now, you also have it. But how come he's made a website out of that? And if you go to the internet or Amazon, you could actually order all kinds of products from him because he has done what we call conversion. He has been he has been able to convert his heritage into his wealth.
Find your culture, OneVoiceApplied.com.
Nada krupne brat, wat eta krupna brat. I patometa, wat krupna, щоб все было видно. Слова. Слова? Можно читать? Okay. Now, you tell us the whole story, how that happened. Look into that heritage.
Right on.
How heritage has worked for you.
Yeah, heritage definitely has. I'm glad, Pastor. Clap it up one more time. I'm glad he put it in that perspective. 'Cause that's exactly what I did. I know where I'm from, so I had to center my brand around culture. Culture is important, obviously. Heritage, right? Being from Africa, of course, I wanted to rep my culture. That's why I call myself, instead of African American, I call myself an Igbo American. So now we're going to tribe, right? So the history of the culture is what I do, which is like expressing myself.
But you said you went down to culture, but even the people in America who call themselves African American, they don't go to the level of seeing it as a resource. Yes. They just see it as color. Mm-hmm. And they call themselves African American. But you must stop seeing it just as a name that they call you. You must begin to see it as as your wealth, as your resource. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yes.
You must begin to see Africa as your own gold mine, as your resource.
Exactly.
Then you go to the level of conversion, which is how to now bring out those particular things that are in Africa and in that continent to convert them to and he's doing it through fashion, and later on I'm going to tell you how this young boy is going to become a billionaire because he wants to become a medical researcher, and I'm going to show you how he could use just heritage alone to become a billionaire.
So it went from tribe to history. So I thought to myself, what are some things in my culture, specifically in the Nigerian culture, that America doesn't have? Number one, the material. Number two,
what was the name of the material?
Ankara.
Excellent.
Hi. I got okay.
And not just the Ankara. There are many more other materials that are available that it could actually source out.
Merely making everything from scratch. What does America do? America makes everything from China, right? America doesn't get everything from America. If they make it from America, maybe the cars, but as far as resourcing, no one builds stuff from scratch. So the difference between Africa and America is the creative process of building something from the ground up, from nothing. So I thought if I can do that in a way that has quality, culture, heritage, I can make my resource conversion. And there you go, right there, right there.
Now, let's go to...
Hi.
No, it doesn't need it, yeah. Now let's go to Judah here. Now Judah wants to become a medical researcher. So he's not just a medical doctor, that's different, because what he wants to do is to find, what Judah wants to do is to find cure, medicine, or healing, right, for all incurable diseases, or as many incurable diseases as possible. Now, like cancer, diabetes, all these things that are called incurable diseases. So he's not just want to become a medical doctor. A medical doctor is just going to work. right? It's not, medical doctors are everywhere. Medical doctors are not the ones who find cures. Medical doctors are just the ones who prescribe, who just, you just deal with the patient. But for you to find cures like he wants to be, you've got to become medical researcher. So he has to go to a research institute, or and do research, through computer or something. But if he's limited just to Europe, if Judah's life is just, if he sees himself only from Peckham or from Kent or from Surrey in Europe, and that's all his life, and he's doing medicine there, you are just the same thing as any other medical researchers or people like that in England. And you are all struggling, and Europe cannot find answers anymore. Why is it that we cannot find cure for these things? Because the resources of Europe and the developed world has been, exhausted. So, but when you know your heritage, when you deal with the question of heritage as Judah, and you say, okay, I want to find cures for all medical illnesses, okay, and I'm living in Europe, and Europe cannot find cures, I just remember my heritage. Your heritage gives you an edge immediately. So knowing that your heritage is Africa, that is a wealth on its own. You have 50 countries in Africa, but just think about your country, Nigeria, your tribe, Yoruba. Go to your tribe and your country and find out what are the plants that grow in your country. Oh. So as a researcher and as a medical researcher, because all medicine,
y'all not hearing this guy. Are y'all hearing?
All medicine comes from leaves and herbs. So you must find out the leaves that grow and the plants that grow in Africa. And you must find out the trees that grow and the body, the stem of the tree, the herbs coming from that. And then go take them, because they are not available in Europe, and go to the laboratory. And you'll begin to find elements. You begin to discover elements and put things together, 1 and 2 together, and you begin to come up with cures and solutions that other continents didn't even know. That is how your heritage.
Wealth already.
And by the time you begin to sell those things to the rest of the world, you're a billionaire. Because, there's an industry. Everybody wants a cure, and they don't have it. And then another thing you could do is to go there and find out how the local, because you have tribe as well. Tribe. And then you go to your tribe and find out, do the research of your tribe and find out how your tribe traditionally will heal sugar diabetes. How the traditional doctors, how the herbalists, how the native doctors, what are the leaves they use? Now, the native doctors don't have laboratories. The native doctors don't have research institutes, but they use local methods, put leaves and leaves together and herbs together and cure, all kind of manner of diseases. But they make mistakes because they didn't do research. They didn't find out what are the ingredients and what are the chemicals that are inside, the compositions of each leaf and each herb. But you can do that. Take all those things that they use, go take them to the laboratory in Europe, find out what are the components that have relation with the bladder or the sugar diabetes, and which ones are excessive or extra or damaging. So you clean it up, and then you use those herbs and those leaves to come out with pure solution, effective quality solution, much more than they used to, because they were just using it out of experience and out of, just out of their knowledge. But you are now putting it on scientific basis and building a pure solution. So if they used to cure one person, one sugar diabetic person, out of 100, but because they just mixed all the kind of thing, you know exactly which of these leaves will give what result and which one will give not for sugar diabetes but for headache or for cancer, and you'll be able to come with a whole array of pharmaceutical industry. Just because. Just because you answer one question. Heritage. Unfortunately, I have to go. I have a conference call right now with America. So I have to go. They are waiting for me. Maybe I don't know if I'll come back again today.
Please.
I can, or when? Is it 9 o'clock, or when am I coming back today?
Well, if you don't finish this section, the next section.
3.
3?
Just come back at 3. Just come back at 3.
I should come back at 3? What is happening at 3?
Oh, wait,
Okay.
Chris.
So then tomorrow, yeah? Is it tomorrow? Or not tomorrow? Huh? I cannot do it at 7. Okay, no problem. Anyway, so you get the idea. So this is one thing, this is another thing, and this is another thing. So these are all questions. I've only been able to answer deal with 2 questions with you people at this HMT. But I'll be back at 9 to talk about truth again. And if you want me to finish this somehow, you have to do another HMT. To come back for another HMT, then I will answer the rest of the 5 questions. We have 7 questions. I will answer the 5 more questions when we come back for next HMT. You got it?
Amen.
Okay.
OneVoiceSupply.com. Yeah.
Yeah. Give your address. Make the announcement.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you want to check these blazers out, any hat, gears, sandals, socks, ties, go find your culture, like Pastor just said, and go to One Voice.
Find your own.
Yeah.
You already processed your own. We want to find out where to get these things.
Yeah, find your culture is actually my hashtag.
Oh, it's called culture?
Yeah, it's called find your culture. Like finding your
okay.
culture, which means like find your purpose. Find your culture. It's spelled FIND, your, and then with the K, KULTURE. So if you hashtag find your culture on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see all my stuff, or One Voice Applied. If you see that hashtag, you'll see it pop up in that One Voice Applied website, ONEVOICEAPPLIED. Find your culture, man. Check it out, yo.
Thank you. On Amazon?
It's on. If you type that in on the One Supply website on Google, then you'll see everything pop up, different websites from it.
Well, thank you. I hope this was helpful to all of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, let's put our hands together once more for Pastor Sunday. Okay, wow, that was something, isn't it? Guys? That was something, isn't it? Okay. Well, we're going to continue a bit here, but before we lose this feeling that I believe is flowing, isn't it flowing? Yeah. Okay. Because we're still live on Facebook, I think I would like few of you, or if all of you, to come up and please tell us what is happening, what have you learned, what lesson have you taken from this teaching, and how you're going to make use of it. So, chap, yes.
From this, I've learned that we should be able to use our culture and where we come from. It's not something for us to be ashamed about. It's not something for us to feel lesser than other people in our own environment, because a lot of us here, we come from the UK, where we are a minority, but the fact that we may be a minority in that situation doesn't make us inferior. We can use everything that God has given us, because there's a purpose for, there's a purpose for our lives in general, but there's a purpose for each and everything that we have in our lives, and we have to be able to identify our resources and use them effectively, and not despise the things that are smaller, but everything we should use it all together. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, who else? Adele? Ife, sorry.
From this, what I got was you shouldn't discount where you came from, and that you should use it to your advantage, because there's a lot of hidden resources that are in your culture, your family line, and where you originally came from. So taking advantage of the different resources and materials that might not be available in the country that you're living in presently, you can make a difference and stand out amongst the crowd and have more impact in your society.
Thank you. Next, yes.
I learned that self-education and developing your mind is important than going straight ahead to do things, because when you develop your mind and do self-education, you're learning you're learning how to do that thing that you want to do. And if you're like finding your purpose, you should do self-education, and because school won't really help you in the thing you want to learn about, so you should do self-education because it will help you more.
Thank you. Awesome. Next, yes, Joy.
That you need to teach yourself, and like don't just do it mindless without thought, or else you'll be struggling with it. So you need to use your mind and think before you do anything.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Next. Yes.
I learned that self-education is a very important thing in life, but also that mind is the second important thing. That mind is the second important thing because your mind is like basically like your storage where you store everything you learn, and if you have no information in there, you won't be able to like use your will, and when you get self-education is more important than anything, and that if you continue to use it in life, that you will be broadened more and understand more things.
Awesome. Thank you. Next, Adele.
Today I learned that we should be falling in love with self-education, and that without self-education, we can't really like fulfill or do anything to do it like properly or fulfill it like completely. And also that us learnt the difference between feelings and emotions, and how feelings are more internal, and that we express those through our emotions. It's like external.
Okay, thank you. Esther?
I learned today that it's important to know your tribe and where you come from, because knowing your tribe and your background and your history will determine your worth and how much you're going to make and how to be a success. And I also learned that with you self-educating yourself, you become a success more because you're making a choice to learn more, to discover more, and to put yourself out there instead of just waiting for someone who has the knowledge to come and teach you and probably wouldn't give you the full understanding.
Okay, thank you. Abiola?
So I learned that your heritage is important because, and when you have the right tools, you'll be able to, with the right steps, you'll be able to convert that into your wealth, because your heritage is actually your wealth, and the things that you have to know to in order to unlock the wealth is where you truly come from, and for example, Pastor Sunday gave the example of Judah wanting to become a medical researcher, about how he could go back to his country and he could actually, he could actually research and see what herbs and stuff make cures to what are called uncurable diseases. So, and then obviously sell it back and research and find a pure cure for them, and then obviously from there build his empire. So that is just one example of how to unlock your heritage, and when you think about it, it's actually really simple, because if you have your heritage, it pretty much allows you to do anything that you want to do. You just need to do it and apply it to yourself.
Okay, thank you. Daniel?
I learned that as foreigners, it is easier to come to a new country or a new continent and like dismiss our background. But now I'm realizing that in our background, that even in the background, even in the places that we think that there is maybe no opportunity, that we find opportunity in those areas.
Yeah, thank you. That's very true. Next, yes.
I've learned today that you need to take it step. I've learned today that you need to take it step by step, so you find it easier for yourself. But if you don't take it step by step, then you find it harder for yourself.
Okay. So what exactly do you want to take step by step?
Like if you want to become like a doctor or something, you need to work out the way how to you can take like an experiment to see if you can cure something.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Next, girls, Vika, Veronica, please.
For this lesson, I took some important things that even we have two important things in our life, even more than God or we are going to church and family, wife, and so on. It is mind and will. It is very important in our life, and we should remember that if we will do if we will be concentrate on these aspects, we will be successful, and we should and self-expressions or self-education, it is very important too.
Yes, very true. Thank you. Judah, yes.
I was very inspired by Kenny and how like he took his culture and made it into a big thing, and how he started making clothes from like his Igbo background and his heritage, and I've learned that we should like we should always like remember our culture, where we're from and who we are, and we should never forget that. And I also learned that self-education is very good, because if you don't self-educate yourself, you can't do what you like want to do. Pastor Sunday gave the example of two people marrying, and then they don't know what to do when they get married, and how everything will just crumble apart, because if they get children, they don't know what to do with the children. They start arguing because they're stressed, and I just found this like really, really good, a really good film.
Okay, thank you. Vajana?
I understood that to be successful in life, you should answer some questions, and here are some of them. First is who I am. This is question of self-consciousness and self-identity. It is very important to identify yourself in life, because this gives you a way where you should go. And the second question is where am I from? This gives you your potential and opportunity to create something new, because heritage is very important, and your family story, your parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents have their mistakes, and you can learn using them. And also, you can, sorry, what I wanted to say. You can use history of your country and of your parents and your culture to create something new. And all maybe.
Yep, awesome, thank you. Okay, thank you. So, that was awesome, kids. No, not kids, guys. Better that way. Okay. I would like to leave you guys now. We have 1 hour to lunch to continue reading your books. But, yes? You don't have book? Okay, we'll discuss that afterwards. So, but we're doing something before Pastor Sunday came. Who remember what we're doing?
You're discussing about our question,
Okay. I think I would love to continue that before you go to continue reading, and then lunchtime, then we'll come back. And also, we hope that we're going to do our best. Today at 3, we have Professor Chris. We're going to continue with him. And then we also have another guest. But I believe that, okay, yes. Okay, okay.
And the task for Professor Chris' session was?
Yes, 3 questions. I hope you guys have your questions ready. Yes? No? Yes? No? Yeah. Yeah. We're actually generous to give you guys 1 hour for lunch. It was, intentional so that you could use that to do other things, to get other things done. Yes, you want to say something? Uh-huh. Okay. So I think before we go offline, maybe we should continue what we're doing. So we go offline and come back exactly at 3, okay? So we remember, where were we? I think we are with you. Have you finished saying your point? Are you sure? Okay, so who was next? You? With your assignment, sure, of course. Who else? Did everybody did his assignment? Did everybody talk about your assignment? Veronica, I gave you yours back. Bajana, have you talked about your assignment? No. Are you ready now? No. Okay, when will you be ready? Because we have to finish this today. Remember, we've already started reading the new book, even though I know you guys are leaving. But I think you should get as much as possible before you leave. Judah, have you talked about your assignment? Okay, what about you? Are you ready to talk about your assignment? I saw you with the computer. Are you ready? So, which means you don't have your assignment. Daniel, did you talk about your assignment? No? Okay. So please do that, then we can go offline for break and then lunch. Yes? It doesn't mean. If you do it, we'll talk about it, and if there's anything wrong, I will let you know what you've done wrong, then you do it right next time. Okay. So, you're live, so please tell viewers your name, what the question of your assignment, and how you've answered it, okay? Okay.
My name is Daniel, and the question is, how can we use self-identity, self-awareness, and self-consciousness to impact our world around us? So firstly, I made a point that in self-identity, once you learn to have a deeper understanding of yourself, you understand, you're able to find your purpose and your calling. And as we learned in Pastor Sunday's book, opportunities come to those who do their calling. So because I'm able to identify and carry out my purpose, that is what leaves an impact on the society. In self-awareness, once a person is aware of different problems around him or her, it makes it easier to discover what you're called to be a solution to. And in self-consciousness, when you're conscious of your identity in Christ Jesus as a child of God, it is easier not to be wavered by overwhelming pressures that will try to hinder you from helping fulfill your mission on earth.
Okay, thank you so much. Who else? You, Judah, right? Present yourself and your lessons and assignment. We can step closer.
My name is Judah. And we were given an assignment to do, and but I don't think I've done it right, so I just want to give an heads up. I don't think I've done it right, so I just want to give a heads up if it's a little off.
I say you don't need to doubt that you have done it right.
Okay. I must know it is that people are not comfortable with the truth. Everyone has to bow down towards truth someday. People do not admit to it the truth. It does not matter what people think. The truth is the highest standard. Once you are on the side of truth, you are never wrong, and you're on the side of God. And
Okay.
I didn't. It's not all, but the rest doesn't really make sense.
Okay. But from what I'm seeing, it's written Pastor Sunday's service. Why do people reject truth? So this is from Pastor Sunday's teaching. This is not an assignment. Who knows what the assignment is? Can anybody read out? Come read out the question. What the assignment was about.
The assignment is to find out how self-identity, self-consciousness, and self-awareness has impact on the world.
It's not find out. How can you use? Yes? Guys, is that correct? What's the correct question?
How can identity, self-consciousness, and self-awareness impact society and the world?
That was the question, but you were very close. Thank you. So, do you understand now that you didn't get the question right? Yeah? Okay, go sit. So guys, please, when next you're being given an assignment, pay attention, especially for you, the younger ones. If you don't understand, you come to me and make sure you get the assignment correctly, okay? And especially you, Imisi, that you need your mom to help you with your assignment, make sure you get it right. I can write it for you, so you get it right next time, okay? Okay, guys, so we'll be going on break, and you can continue reading your book, lunch, then at 3 we're coming back. So viewers, we're going to see you at 3, yes? Igor, are you going to be live at 3? At 3. Okay, so see you then. Section with Professor Chris Imafidon. So guys, say bye to our viewers. Bye. Bye. Thank you.